A Sonic 4 developer directed DK Bonanza? I would not make this video if that was not true, guys. The director of DK Bonanza is Kazuya Takahashi, who has quite the Sega resume of diverse games, and an aftermath with Final Fantasy. So rest assured that DK Bonanza will be a well-rounded experience, with a lot of creativity. Bonanza's racing mini-games with Rambi will benefit from Kazuya's experience with Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed. And with his Space Channel 5 resume, any rhythm components in the game have everything they need to succeed. But there is a caveat or two, though. The Sonic Adventure 2 that he's credited on is the 2012 version for Microsoft Windows, and his roles include Sega Shanghai and everything that entails. But regardless, the fact is, he is definitely the director of DK Bonanza for sure, and this is the tentpole game of the Switch 2's launch year. So bravo, Takahashi, you earned it. Mario Kart World is a solid weekday game, but how are we throwing down on the weekend in 2025? It's Donkey Kong Bonanza only. So look, this video isn't really about Sega or Sonic game design, but that is the framework entry point on what we can expect from this game he directed, and the cultural life this game has been enjoying. Imagine plowing through the hell trenches of Sonic 4, and once it all pays off with Bonanza, you find yourself taken to the press to acknowledge the frame drops canonically. So if you buy Bonanza at launch, you do so with the full knowledge that on the Switch 3 the game will run great, the same way Tears of the Kingdom runs well on the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Sucks to be a Nintendo customer, am I right, people? But hey, we are all in this together. I mean, we are the fandom that kept the DK rap alive through thick and thin. In the Mario movie, and the DK Bonanza Direct, and the game itself, performing for you. And this is much-needed validation. The composer of the DK rap was whining, "Oh, Nintendo never really liked DK64. Wah." Now that DK Bonanza's come out, I'm not even going to spoil the more epic callbacks to DK64, but the Banana Get jingle brings back the phrase, "Oh, banana," every time you get a banana. So look, if Grant Kirkhope apologized, I would accept it. That is, were he to realize that Nintendo actually does value Rareware's contributions. But that would not happen as a favor to me. It would be his choice. Enjoy the truth that Nintendo thinks so highly of England's work that they make it center stage in the identity of the new game. The only catch is that Nintendo enjoys your stuff and then rubs your nose in it, which I imagine is not fun until you get used to it. I mean, come on, Ingot Isle, on the same planet as George Orwell's Ingsoc, English socialism. So now Nintendo's got England under their banner now. They've got England's one-of-a-kind creations like Donkey Kong Country or 64 to use as they see fit without credit, compensation, or even notification. You're informed while eating popcorn at the movie theater. You find out with Gen Pop. And there should be no angry sob stories this time about the lack of legacy composer credits in DK Bonanza. If Nintendo added their names, it would be a vulnerability. Those legacy composers could turn around and ask for compensation, because their name is used in the crediting and identity of the game. See how I used the word legacy correctly there? It was composed in the 90s and released on the SNES and 64, and is now experiencing continued current life in new works in the 2020s. So, just a quick calibration. Donkey Kong 64's legacy is DK Bonanza. Banjo-Kazooie's legacy these days is a character in Smash, or maybe the inanimate object eyeballs in Bonanza. Luke Skywalker's legacy is The Last Jedi. And finally, Reggie Fils-Aimé's legacy is nothing. Nothing he did has current continued cultural life or occurrence. It's just remember whens with Reggie. Although if you ask Reggie what his legacy is, he would say Doug Bowser, which aged like Luke Skywalker milk. So there should only be one takeaway from all the Rareware works showing up in Bonanza. Just take the W. There's plenty of great DKC1 music reincarnated in Bananza, which is incredible and great, and I wish people more frequently pointed out that David Wise's music is in the movie too. But since it didn't have lyrics, it didn't show up in the credits the way the DK rap did, on account of George Andreas's rap lyrics. And you can already find people describing Bananza as a modern-day Banjo-Kazooie, and this is what I'm saying. There is demand for BK and its design philosophy. It doesn't make sense for people to be apathetic about a new Banjo game. You see it at the beginning of the Bananza reveal trailer immediately. These rocks might as well be out of a Banjo-Kazooie game. Look at those cute eyes. So, to wrap up this video, I might as well be transparent and disclose why I will not be getting DK Bonanza. It's because Doug Bowser made it quite clear that in 2025, Switch 1 is my entry point, and will continue to be the primary exclusive avenue for me to access Nintendo's IPs and engage with their content passionately. I am not included in Bonanza's cultural event. Doug Bowser canonically excluded us. Now, he can do that and all, it's just I can point it out. But I've actually grown to appreciate that being marginalized from Bonanza does indicate that I'm still hardcore and underground. That I am, in the eyes of a CEO, not worthy of this video game, which members of other socioeconomic groups are going to get in on. The color scheme of the logo is gender inclusive, but not socioeconomically inclusive. And look, I wasn't exactly hungry for a continuation of Odyssey's structure of super variety, and Spyro suffered that problem too. I lost interest after Spyro 1, which was like a Sonic game, but then Spyro 2 and 3 are just a ton of mini-games, basically. And now DK Bonanza has any number of transformations, which really only apply to the level that they're introduced in. You don't really use it much after that level. The cautionary tale is not so much Sonic 4, but Banjo-Tooie. In that game, you could play as Mumbo, but no one is nostalgic for playing as Mumbo. It was mostly a superscripted square peg in a square hole. It seems like a cool idea until you play it in-game and you're like, uh-oh, this is here and it's boring. So, as I now provide my final recommendation, this has been Alex Yard here at 91.6 WAYZ, the Alex Yard Zone, terrestrial internet radio. If you see us running, try to keep up. Get it? 91.6, June 1991, looking at you, Sonic. There's no Sonic 4 without Sonic 1. Remember that. Hey, we can take comfort in reverse FOMO about Bonanza, like a relief that I'm not buying it by default, and being nervous if I'm going to get my money's worth, even my time's worth. Nintendo's Entertainment and Family Planning division lost a lot of its confidence with Mario Wonder, the metaphorical erasure of Miyamoto. They said, screw it, let's just do TikTok gimmicks. And here comes DK Bonanza with every tiny particle flying around on screen as you tear through terrain. And a lot of the environments are samey in nature. See also Tears of the Kingdom, the Final Resignation Minecraft Playground Sandbox. Get ready for Jack Black in the Tears movie. Jack Black will play Groose. Here's your lineup for the Switch 2 launch year. Look at this. Next year is just Animal Crossing and Luigi's Mansion, for all we know. So to see Nintendo go the direction they have with Bonanza, and with that blue and pink color scheme that shows up quite a lot, they beat you over the head with it. And every time I see a new incarnation of those colors, it takes me out of it. Like suddenly we're on social media. Because gender. Then you get black screen pillow talk ASMRs. That's quite the legacy for Rosalina. Nintendo didn't shy away from pillow talk in Tears of the Kingdom neither. Inferred pillow talk in that case, because Link and Zelda live in the same house, and there's one bed. And on that note, look, there is a lot to commend in DK Bonanza. First and foremost, the bravery it takes for Nintendo to shake things up like this. This game is brave in the way that Mario Sunshine is, taking experimental risks to provide new experiences and mechanics. But the fact is, there was not really any backlash to Odd Rock. So it's interesting that people pretty much would have been fine with Odd Rock, and that the game's initial reveal was a purely masculine expression, on purpose. Because otherwise, the debut impression with Pauline would have been like, okay, Princess Peach Showtime vibes. Pauline sure is a star. My FOMO meter for this game is currently at a 0 out of 10, or maybe a 1 out of 10 because of all the cool Rareware stuff. But the manic animations and expressions are the times changing with the Turning Red movies. Yeah. And everyone who plays the game can decide for themselves if the game truly should be called DK Bonanza Party, the way Odyssey could be. There's so much variety. And dude, it's only $70, which Nintendo did as a concession that Mario isn't in the title. You don't play as Mario. So let's give people a $10 discount to even things out. Because a 3D game that had Mario in the title would probably just be $80 outright, and you know this. So instead of saving $10 on DK Bonanza, you could use those $10 to buy Sonic 4 Episode 2. Yes, Sonic 4 Episode 2 alone itself costs $10. And look, the game does have its supporters. Just look at Metacritic. And you can't say Sonic 4 was a complete disaster because it laid the groundwork for Kazuya Takahashi to direct Donkey Kong Bonanza. Oh, banana. Good night, everybody.